Hey everyone, on this week's Community Series episode, we're going to be going over the features and functionality of our online portal dedicated towards football officials. Now, what exactly is this officials portal? Think of it as a one-stop shop for your officials to be able to download rulebooks, track their training online, see which clinics are available in their area for the level of football that they want to officiate. They can take e-learnings, exams, and they can also see their evaluations done by a supervisor at one of their games. And in case you're curious, the reason for this is because right now in Canada, we don't really have a great centralized system for tracking officials. You can ask us who our officials are, and we don't have a good answer. Right now, it's very decentralized. Every province has their own set of spreadsheets, but we don't have one large spreadsheet or database until now. Now, I'm going to go over each one of those features that I mentioned just a bit ago, but if you're an administrator or something in charge of officials, stick around, look at the timestamps below, because I'm going to go over the back end of what that looks like and how you can get involved and make this as easy as possible for you as well. All right, let's get into it. So to get things started on your journey on this officials portal, what you'll want to do is go to officials.footballcanada.com. You'll be met with this page here, and you'll want to hit this red register button on the left side where you're going to fill out some basic information that tells us who you are as an official before we get into it. I've already made an account, and if you already have one as well, you'll want to hit this member sign in button on the top right. Let's go ahead and sign in. The first page you should be met with is your status page. So this is what tracks your training. This is a very easy and digestible way to see what training I have and what training I'm missing. For instance, on this Scott Woloshin's account here, which we're going to be looking at, I can see I've done the e-learning for tackle, but I've yet to do a clinic and I've yet to be evaluated before I can move on to level 2. As you can see, I don't have any of my level 2 credentials because I need to get them done in level 1 first. Now, if you scroll down to flag football, you can see that I have quite a few more credentials. I've done my e-learning, I've done my clinic. We actually have exams on flag football on here as well, and my evaluation. So the supervisor has watched me and has attached a file to my account where I can then download it, and we'll take a quick look. This is just an example, but you can see I scored a 31 out of 36, and you know, there's the information here. Pretend there's some notes. You can see great work, but ideally there'd be, you know, work on your mechanics, work on all this fun stuff. Whatever you would find in your evaluation would be attached to your profile. You can go back, look at it, whatever you want, in case you need that reminder. So let's say football season is fast approaching, you're excited, you want to take a clinic, of course, to refresh that memory, or maybe it's your first time taking a clinic. What you'll want to do is head over to this clinics button. So now, ideally, this would be populated with clinics that have happened or are happening in your area, in your province, and you can sign up for one of them. As you can see, the 2 clinics that are happening here have already been done. So you will not be able to sign up for them. If there was a clinic that was happening, you'd be able to see what city it's happening, and you'd see a big red register button. What happens when you click that is you get an email sent to you that says, hey, you're registered, and any of the information that the person who created the clinic wants you to know. And you can see the date and times where they're at. One thing to note as well, you can see this one took place on Zoom. So not all of them will take place in person, but they do have the ability to be done on Zoom, and who your facilitators are. Now, let's say you want to touch up on your rules and you want to get more familiar with the game. There's this rulebook section here, which is pretty simple. It links to all the rulebooks. Something to keep in mind that whenever I receive a change to the rulebooks from the rules committee, this is the first place that I drop the newest ones. So this is almost your surefire way of guaranteeing that this is the most new rulebook that you can receive. Now, the last thing I wanted to go over for officials is the e-learning section. So when I click e-learning, it actually takes me to the status section. And I want to go, and let's say I hadn't completed this level 1 flag e-learning, I'd click this register button and I'd be taken to a page where I can either enter an access code if you received one from your league or association, or I could pay myself. Once you've completed it, you actually have the ability to redo it by just clicking it, press open the e-learning module, and you'll be able to retake it if you want to refresh your memory. And this might be good for officials who, you know, are starting out, especially in their first couple of years, who really want to just get a good grip on the game and can continue their e-learning from there. All right, so those are the main features from the officiating side of things. So if you are not an administrator or in charge of referees, you could probably stop watching here and you won't be missing too much. If you are an administrator or in charge of referees, stay tuned here. We're gonna go into what it looks like on the back end here for you guys. We have 3 different levels of accounts for the admin privileges, we'll call them. So at the top, obviously, we have my Football Canada account, and this allows me to see kind of Canada-wide, okay? Pretty simple. Next up, we have your provincial and PSO account. Now, most provinces and PSOs are familiar with this one, and they are already competent in this one, but this allows you to see all the officials within your province and allows you to edit and add officials into your province. So I can't add an official and say they're from New Brunswick when I'm in Ontario, for instance. You can add official developers, so who is teaching your clinics. That's something that's important to know because official developers have slightly altered access as well. You can create, edit, and submit clinics. Again, this is something that we might see more on the single association side. You can give evaluations and reset exams. So if someone fails an exam, they have the option to retry, but you can also reset their marks so they aren't left with a blemish some people don't like. We're referees after all. We don't like blemishes. We like to get 100% on our black and white tests. So the next level of privileges is the single association. So if you're just in charge of one football official association within your province, this is probably the type of admin privileges that you'll get. It's very similar to the provincial and PSO one. You can edit and add association officials' credentials. So you can add an official only to your association. So let's say I'm in Edmonton right now. I can't add someone to Calgary, a different city's associations, but I can add them to mine, and I can only see my officials. I can then run reports on them as well. We'll get to that in a second. You can create clinics, and this is going to be really important. If you want to advertise your clinics, why not take 5 seconds to create a clinic within your province, within your city, and you can say, hey, we're having a level 1 clinic here, we're having a level 2 clinic here. It's a great way to advertise it, and who knows, you might get a few registrants you didn't think were out there. Also, you can give evaluations and reset exams. And lastly, just to go over it, officials, they can access the e-learning. We've kind of already went over this. Register for clinics and see their status. So their access to see other officials is limited. Only you folks can. Now let's get to the portal and see what you do. So to start, admins actually log in through a backend using credentials that will be provided to you either by myself or from your province. Once you sign in, now I've got the Football Canada account so I can see a lot of everything. You'll be met with your officials tab in the top left, you can kind of see, and you'll be able to search for your officials. So I'm just going to look at my Woloshin here. And this is Canada-wide, but you'll be specific to your association, okay? Or to your province, right? So I can see in Canada there's 2 Woloshins, myself and my brother, for instance. But again, let's say I'm association. I know that I just want to choose my Edmonton Football Official Associations. Perfect. I've got one official signed up whose last name is Woloshin in my Edmonton, and you can change the parameters to whatever you want. If you want them only in tackle football, only in flag, if they're trained certified, what year they registered for, what ages, because from this, if you had a full list, you can download a report, and that report will tell you all the information about that official, so then you can run reports on however you like. You can run demographic reports, you can run training level reports, so what amount of officials are level 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., right? Another thing that will be very crucial is adding officials to the portal. Now, I like to think that officials should go on and register for themselves because they can get familiar with the website. And if everyone takes, the 30 seconds it takes to register, we have a good system. Let's say you have a straggler who's not joining. There's this add official button in the top right. You can click that and create an account for them and go on from there. What you can do with that account, because let's say they're a veteran official, is give them credentials. So I'm going to look at myself, I'm going to view my current status, and I have this, you see on the admin side of things, I have this blue button that says give credit. Now, I wouldn't do this willy-nilly. I would do this to veteran refs who've already come in the system. Let's say, oh, I know this Scott Woloshin fella. I know he's taken a level 1 clinic. I want to give him credit for that, and so he doesn't have to register and go through the clinic. And you can do that for every single piece of content there is, just to ensure that, hey, if someone kind of gets missed by the formal, they didn't register for the clinic, but then they showed up, there is a way to retrace that. To give evaluations, it's very simple. You click this evaluations tab at the top, and you click add evaluation. You search for the official. Again, we'll just search for myself just to keep things simple. And then I can say, hey, listen, I watched his tackle level 1 game. You have the ability to add a file. While it's not necessary, it is typically a good idea, whether it's a picture or a PDF or a Word document. You have the ability to do that. And if you do this, as you saw in the first half of the video, I can then, as the official, see my evaluation and what it looks like. And you can use whatever evaluation form you want. I know we have this for, typically used for flag football, just kind of a checklist. It's all fillable, all fun and easy. So you can use whatever you want though, when it was completed and who it was completed by. Now, how do you get your name on this evaluators list? Another important thing is this officials developer tab here. So official developers are who's teaching and who's evaluating your officials within your province or your city or your association. As you can see right now, we only have 19 developers Canada-wide. Obviously, we know that's not true, but I can't put these in from the Football Canada side of things. This is something that needs to be put in from these local associations who know their officials and their official developers. So if you don't see your official developer up there, or you can't see them giving an evaluation, please let me know. Please let your PSO know, let your official coordinator know, and they can add this official developer in. You might not have this option depending on your admin level there. Well, that about wraps up what we're going to go over on the officials portal today on the community series. Remember, this portal is free and relatively easy to use, I'd like to think, so give it a shot if you're an association. It's a good database to keep your officials, give them some autonomy that they log in, they sign up for the clinics, they can see their training and how to get to the next one, create some motivation for officials. We can find out who our officials currently are and which ones have recently left and why they're leaving. That's kind of the whole plan about this thing, is know who our officials are. Anyways, take care.